Have you ever questioned why the innocent suffer while the wicked flourish? Let's journey together into the ancient narrative of a man named Job, a man whose story might echo some of your deepest questions. Job was a man of impeccable character. He was blameless and upright, a man who respected God and distanced himself from all forms of evil. Yet his life became the stage for an unseen cosmic battle, a conflict that teetered on the delicate balance of faith and suffering. Imagine, if you will, a heavenly scene where angels come to present themselves before God, and among them Satan. Satan, the accuser, challenges Job's faith. He argues before God that Job's devotion is not a result of his love for the divine, but rather it's because of the prosperity he enjoys. Satan suggests that Job is faithful only because God has put a protective hedge around him, his household, and all his possessions. God, knowing the heart of Job, allows Satan to test this man of faith. But there's a caveat. Satan can take everything Job has, but he cannot lay a finger on the man himself. This divine permission marks the beginning of a series of calamities that befall Job, transforming his life from one of comfort and reverence to one of immense suffering. The story of Job is one of the most intriguing and profound accounts in the Holy Scriptures. It's a narrative that delves into the complexities of faith during times of suffering, the sovereignty of God, and the enduring question of why the righteous often face hardships. It's a story that doesn't shy away from the harsh realities of life, but instead confronts them head-on, offering timeless wisdom and insights for all who dare to journey through its chapters. So we find ourselves at the precipice of a narrative that is as ancient as it is relevant, a narrative that explores the depths of faith, the mystery of suffering, and the enigma of divine sovereignty. And so begins the test of an innocent man's faith, a test that would bring him to the brink of despair. How would you respond if everything you held dear was suddenly taken away? Imagine, if you will, a man named Job. A man of immense wealth, a loving family, and a heart filled with profound faith. Life couldn't be more perfect for Job. But then, out of nowhere, catastrophe strikes. In a swift series of unfortunate events, Job's world crumbles. His wealth, which he has worked tirelessly to amass, is stolen right from under him. The thieves take every last sheep, every camel, leaving him with nothing. His prosperity, which once seemed unshakable, is now nothing but a memory. But the trial doesn't end there. The loss of wealth, as devastating as it may be, pales in comparison to what follows. His children, his pride and joy, are tragically killed. The laughter, the love, and the life they brought to Job's world are suddenly, heartbreakingly silenced. As if the loss of his wealth and children weren't enough, Job's health takes a nosedive. He is afflicted with agonizing sores from the soles of his feet to the crown of his head. Every breath, every movement is a symphony of pain. Yet, despite this hurricane of calamities, Job's faith stands firm. He doesn't lash out in anger or curse God for his misfortunes. Instead, he shaves his head, tears his robe, and falls to the ground in sorrow. His heart is heavy with grief, but he chooses to mourn his loss and still praise God. In his deepest despair, Job utters these profound words: "Naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised." Job's response is a testament to his unwavering faith. His world is shattered, his heart is broken, but his spirit remains unbroken. In the face of unimaginable loss, Job chose not to curse God, but to worship him. Who among us hasn't offered or received advice during tough times? It's a universal experience, isn't it? We've all been there, offering a shoulder to lean on, or seeking one in times of distress. This scene, my friends, brings us to the arrival of Job's buddies. Now, these aren't just any friends, they are old-time companions here with the noble intention of comforting their suffering pal. But here's where things get a little complicated. They see Job's adversity and suffering, and they make a hasty deduction. They equate suffering with sin and prosperity with righteousness. An age-old assumption, isn't it? Yet, it's a presumption that's as flawed as it is simplistic. Life, as we know, isn't black and white. It's a myriad of grays, blues, and every color in between. And so they accuse Job of harboring hidden sin. They believe his trials are a divine punishment for some concealed transgression. But Job, he's steadfast. He maintains his innocence, defends his integrity. He's not perfect, no one is. But he's honest, upright, a man of his word. Yet in the face of his friends' accusations, Job starts to question. He questions God's justice. Why should the innocent suffer? Why should calamity befall the righteous? These are tough questions, timeless queries that humanity has grappled with since time immemorial. But remember this, my friends, Job's friends may have meant well, but their approach was misguided. Their words, instead of providing solace, only added to Job's distress. Their accusations, instead of offering comfort, only deepened his pain. And therein lies a profound lesson for us all. It's easy to judge, to make assumptions, to offer advice, but in our haste to comfort, to help, we must never misjudge, never add to the pain. We must remember that suffering isn't always a result of sin, nor prosperity always a result of righteousness. Life is complex, and so is the human experience. Often in our haste to comfort, we may misjudge and add to the pain. Let's remember that and be a little more understanding, a little more compassionate in our dealings with one another. What would you say if God finally answered your desperate questions? Let's delve into that moment when Job's pleas were met not with the answers he sought, but with a divine interrogation. Imagine the scene. Job, wearied and worn from his trials, hears the voice of the Almighty emanating from a storm, a voice like thunder, like the roar of the raging sea, but not harsh or cruel. Instead, it's a voice that carries the weight of the cosmos, the power of creation, and the quiet authority of ultimate wisdom. Rather than providing a direct response to Job's inquiries, God turns the tables and begins questioning Job. "Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation?" God asks. "Who marked off its dimensions?" It's a profound shift. Job, the one seeking answers, finds himself at the receiving end of questions he cannot answer. God's questions are not meant to belittle Job or trivialize his suffering. Rather, they serve to remind him of the vastness of the universe, of the intricate balance of creation, and most importantly, of the wisdom and sovereignty of its creator. Job is being led towards a humbling realization. His understanding of the world, of suffering, and of God himself is limited. God's voice out of the storm doesn't bring Job the answers he yearns for. His suffering is not explained away. His losses are not justified. Instead, God's voice brings Job to a deeper understanding of his divine wisdom and control over the universe. It's a lesson that transcends Job's immediate circumstances and serves as a timeless reminder for all of us. God's voice, though it may not provide the solutions we seek, offers something far more valuable: perspective. It reminds us of our place within the grand scheme of the universe, of our limited understanding, and of God's infinite wisdom and sovereignty. It's a voice that whispers in the wind and roars in the storm, a voice that proclaims, "I am here, I am in control." In the midst of our suffering, God's voice may not bring the answers we seek, but it does bring the perspective we need. Can there be life, hope, and restoration after immense suffering? The story of Job is a testament that, indeed, there can be. After enduring incredible pain and loss, Job experiences a dramatic turnaround. God restores Job's fortunes, not just to their original state, but giving him twice as much as he had before. His livestock numbers double, and he is blessed with 10 more children, matching the number he had lost in his trials. It's a remarkable story of restoration following adversity. But let's not forget, the story of Job isn't just about material restoration, it's about spiritual restoration as well. Job emerges from his ordeal with a deeper understanding of God's sovereignty, a stronger faith, and an enriched wisdom that far surpasses what he had before his trials. Yet the story of Job leaves us with lessons that probe deeper into the human condition. One of these lessons is the mystery of innocent suffering. Why do good people suffer? Why does God allow it? Job's story doesn't answer these questions directly. Instead, it invites us to sit with these questions, to acknowledge the mystery, and to trust in God's wisdom and goodness, even when we can't see the bigger picture. Another lesson is the folly of human wisdom. Job's friends thought they had all the answers, but they were wrong. It was a humbling reminder that our human understanding is limited, and our assumptions can lead us astray. Finally, we learn about the supremacy of divine wisdom. God's wisdom far surpasses our own. His ways are not our ways, and his thoughts are not our thoughts. It's a humbling, yet liberating thought. For it frees us from the burden of having to understand everything and invites us to trust in a wisdom greater than our own. The story of Job challenges us to trust God's wisdom even when we don't understand our circumstances.